Hey everybody, Jeff Schneider here. In today's video, I'm going to break down a little bit more of the solo I analyzed last video. This was the solo I composed over this really non-functional chord progression. And in this video, I want to talk about playing notes that don't really belong on the chord at hand. You can make any note sound right as long as you do a couple of things. So let's talk about what those things are. So in the last video, I left off around here, which is where the second chorus starts. And the part that I want to focus on now is actually these four notes right in here. So let's zoom in. If you look here, we have an A, a G sharp, an E, and a B. Those four notes don't really fit on F minor 7. Yes, the G sharp is sort of like an A flat and is the third, but you know what we're really doing here is outlining a whole new sound. So if this is F minor 7 and I play this 4-note set, it's pretty dissonant there, right? So why does it work? Why does it sound good? I'll play the phrase so you can hear what it sounds like. Now just to hear it in a slightly different context, I'm going to play it again with just piano. So here we go. This is from the beginning of measure 9. 3, 4. So there are two reasons why I think those four notes work on the F minor 7. The first is we have basically repeated the phrase we played at the beginning of that measure, A flat, G, E flat, and B flat. It's the same thing up a half step. And what that does is we've provided context. It's not just random notes anymore that we're playing over this F minor 7 chord, random wrong notes that is. These are four intervals we have just heard, so we have the context there. It's familiar. And when you have something that's familiar, it makes more sense, even when the notes don't technically work on the chord. So that's part of it. So if you guys want to be practicing and experimenting with playing outside of the chord changes, a really good way to do that is by taking a line and moving it in a different key, essentially. So you can move it up a half step, you could transpose something up minor thirds. Any interval doesn't really matter. The point is that you have the same intervals within the line itself. So you could take F minor 7 and play that line all over the place. And then when you finally go back to the original way you played it on the chord, in this case, it does have that sense of, okay, we finally made our way back to the original chord, and you get that sense of resolution. Okay, so what's the other reason why these four notes work on the F minor 7? Well, if you look ahead, we have an A major 7. And these four notes work perfectly on an A major 7. We're kind of actually outlining an E major triad, but E major triads on A major 7 sound really good. You've got the 9 in there, the 5, and then the major 7, and then of course the A on top, we have that's the root. So what we're doing here is anticipating the upcoming chord with our melodic line, with our improvised line. And that's a really effective way for making disjunct chords sound a bit more natural. I think one of the most important things to try to do when you're improvising over a set of chord changes that are a little bit obscure is to try to make them sound less obscure. Try to make the harmony sound like it's natural. So how do you do that? Well, one way you can do it is by anticipating the chord that's coming up next. And that's what we've done here. So on beat 4 of the F minor 7 measure, we start playing as if A major 7 has already arrived, which it hasn't, but we can introduce it in a way that makes it, we can give everybody a heads up that A major 7 is coming. And then when A major 7 actually hits, it's like, okay, finally we have this resolution where the line we just played makes a lot more sense because A major 7 is now not only in the melodic content but also in the harmonic content. So as an exercise to try this technique in your own playing, start emphasizing or outlining whatever chord is coming up next before it actually happens. Beat 4 is a great place to do that, but you can anticipate a chord even more in advance than that. You could start anticipating the chord on beat 3 of the previous measure, or however much you want. It's worth experimenting with. And then you'll hear how when that line finally kind of makes it to where the chord actually is, you get that sense of resolution and everything sounds great. One thing I hear a lot in people's playing over tunes that have non-functional harmony or chords that are just really disjunct is this very vertical way of playing where you get to a new chord and there's no transition from the previous chord. There's no connection there. It's very, not only is the harmony disjunct, but the melody that you're playing is also disjunct. And like I said, you want to make disjunct and non-functional harmony sound as natural as possible. So you have to find ways of playing through the changes and not just up and down. And when you anticipate the chord changes in this way, you can definitely achieve that effect. We'll talk more about this solo in future videos. Let me know, actually, last video I did a very long, in-depth analysis of the first half of this solo. And this one, obviously much shorter. So let me know, do you guys prefer the bite-sized content or the more long-form stuff? I'll be interested to hear what you have to say in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.